Here's a copywriting tip. Structure your bullet points correctly. Bullet points, okay, it's super, super exciting, right? The reason you want to do this is because bullet points can sell your product or service. Like, it can make a huge difference. If you have a bullet point that's weak or poorly structured or poorly worded or grammatically like weird, you can blow the sale. Like, your bullet points can sell, and so you want to make them structured correctly. So there's a certain like rhythm and structure to a list of bullet points. And the idea is you want to make them what's known as parallel. So that just means that like whatever you start with. So say you have a sentence like, in this free training, you're going to learn ... So everything that comes underneath that is the bullet points. In this free training, you're going to learn how to write copy that makes people instantly want to buy your product. That's a bullet point. How to tighten up your writing so that you don't look like a moron. That's a bullet point. The mindset required to write a high-performing sales page in 2 days. That's a bullet point. So each of these bullet points that I just listed that I came up with right now is like, they're parallel to the first part of the bullets. So in this free training, you're going to learn this. And the way that you test it to make sure that it's parallel is you see if it can act on its own as a sentence. So if the single bullet point can be like a full sentence with the top part, then that's great. You have a parallel bullet structure. Here's an example of like, if you don't have a parallel structure, it would say something like, in this free training, you're going to learn, are you making these mistakes? It's like, what? That doesn't correspond to the top part. Or here's another one that's not parallel. In this free training, you're going to learn, what are the best practices? What are the best copywriting practices? It's not quite parallel. If you were to flip it and put the word are at the very end of the sentence, it would be like, in this free training, you're going to learn what the best copywriting practices are. That's parallel. That works because that can be a complete sentence and it totally works as a sentence. So, this is like grammar stuff. I went to college and I majored in English and I learned grammar. I was already good at grammar. I know that grammar is not something that a lot of people like or care about unless they're a writer or an English major or, but grammar is like what makes your writing good. If you have shitty grammar, if you have poorly structured bullet points, if your bullet points don't match up like to the structure, it can really throw off the process of reading it. And you don't want to make your reader have to stop and decipher the structure of your writing. They don't have time for that. They don't have the desire for that. It just like throws them off. They're like, is this like an English class? So you just want to make your bullet points parallel. So yeah, the grammar, we're combining grammar with copywriting tips. The copywriting is what makes the money when, you're selling through your writing because you're following these copywriting tips. So yeah, structure. When your bullet points are structured, when everything is just structured correctly, the grammar flows, there's like this certain rhythm and pace to your writing. And it's just nice. Like when something is structured correctly, it feels nice to the senses, to the intellect, and it's just a nice reading experience for the person on the other end, as opposed to somebody that has to stop and be interrupted from their reading flow to decipher something that you didn't do in your copywriting. So yeah, you don't want to distract the reader with poorly structured bullet points or bad grammar or bullet points that are not parallel. That will distract them. That will irritate them. And an irritated reader does not buy anything from you. So that's today's copywriting tip. Make your bullets parallel.